Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Welcome, everybody, to the live stream. I am your host, Ashton Forbes. Thank you guys for being in the chat. I don't think there's a lot of live streamers that are already getting super chats, like when you're already just in your warm-up video 1 minute in. Technically, live streams just now beginning if we're going on time. But thank you, Justin, and We Are the Change. Some people were noticing We Are the Change is very active in the Discord. Thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys. I just want to make sure that you guys know that. Welcome back, guys. It's a Monday. We had a nice weekend. I hope you guys did as well. If you were not watching my social media, Ashton got in a little fight, in a little tiff with Sabine Hassenfelder. Oh, sorry, Sabine Hassenfelder. There's no R in there. Sabine Hassenfelder, very famous physicist with 3 million subscribers on YouTube, because that's how we judge people in these day and age. So, yes, really, Nick. Yes, really. So I'm going to pull it up. Let's get into the drama right off the bat, chat. And then we will spend some time looking at U.S. Navy directed energy weapons today, guys. Get excited. You know what? I'm getting excited. In a year and a half, guys, this is the first time I've ever done a live stream about directed energy weapons. Can you believe it? I actually can't believe it. Now, we're not going to get into all of it, but we're going to look at some cool stuff today, because I know that people like to see cool stuff, especially on YouTube. So get ready. But before we do that, the next best thing to science is, of course, YouTube drama. Or not YouTube, but, online drama, social media drama, YouTuber drama, whatever you want to call it, is the next best thing. So let's scroll down until we find it. Oh, don't look at those videos. Those are for later, guys. Ignore some of those videos. And yes, if you want to know what I'm going to talk about on my live streams, you can pretty much just go to my Twitter channel and you can probably find it. Sometimes I don't post stuff, and save it for the live stream, but it's rare. Whoa, Pippi Universe. Okay, who can figure out what currency ARS is? Thank you very much for 600 ARSs. Appreciate you very much. Why don't the USA use directed energy weapons to hit UFOs? Who says they aren't? But also, because imagine if you use a directed energy weapon on a UFO and then they decide, oh, okay, is that how we're playing? And then they just zap us with like a black hole weapon and it just wipes out our whole solar system. Our entire solar system is just gone. Right? That's why we don't just shoot weapons at UFOs that are flying around. Because people think it's weird. I think this brings up a good point that I want to talk about just for 1 minute. Which is that people have this tendency to assume that we're more advanced than aliens would be. Or let's just call it non-human intelligence, because it doesn't necessarily have to be little green men. I don't know why people assume that. If anything, we are probably not. If you look at all the spectrum of advanced sentient beings, we are most likely near the least advanced than we are near the most advanced. So that would mean if we were to run into a random extraterrestrial civilization, especially if they can just get to us from somewhere else. They're probably way more advanced than we are. So we don't really want to be messing with them. But we could use plausible deniability and we could be like, hey, we didn't know what it was. It was just some thing flying around. So we decided to zap it out of the sky. But we do have directed energy weapons. Spoiler alert. And thank you, Pip Universe, for that donation. Appreciate you. And then Ronnie, thank you for the super sticker. Guys, I still don't know what a super sticker is, and now I'm too afraid to ask, but thank you very much. I'm pretty sure it's just like a normal donation. Appreciate you guys. Okay. So also, guys, this is another thing that may sound stupid, but also is really important for everybody out there. Please spread the word to everybody who's not watching. Please don't go shooting at UFOs. Let me say that again. Please do not go shooting guns or anything, flamethrowers. Don't shoot anything at UFOs. Like, it's probably not a threat to you unless it's an active threat to you, in which case, of course, defend your life, defend your property or whatever, but you don't have anything to fear from a random UFO. If an alien comes out, just give it the back of your hand. If you don't know what I mean, just give it the back of your hand. You're a big human. It's a tiny little gray alien or whatever the aliens are. I don't know. Okay? Okay, one more thing I just want to address. We're at the beginning of the stream. I'm just going to be real with you guys, as I always am. And I messed up this weekend. I posted a video claiming that this airplane crash looked like a missile. Now, I want to give you the full context. I'm only going to do this once because it's annoying as shit. Is that like you explain yourself to people and then only like some people hear it, and then like people are always wondering, hey, didn't you say that plane looked like a missile? Yeah, it looked like a missile because these videos were emerging and there was no reports of a missing plane. And we see this third video comes out and this thing looks like a missile flying out of the sky and hits the ground and causes like a mushroom cloud. And you're thinking, okay, if that's a plane, all these circumstances have to be exactly right. Like it has to be like full throttling into the ground with a full fuel tank. And so, okay, I said, it was a missile, right? Looked like a missile. It became this whole drama on the internet. And so I corrected myself and what have you. I did this whole stream about it. But for anyone who was misguided, I apologize. But I'm going to be myself. I'm not the news. So I hope you guys aren't looking at me to be the news. I'm just a guy on the internet who's reporting stuff in real time that I think is crazy, dope, or related to the topics that I discuss. And one of those things is plane crashes. So, yeah. Anyway, I apologize for that. I just want to point that out. I am human and I make mistakes. So, and it was a thing where then once it came out that like it was a plane and obviously a plane and they figured out which plane it was. Okay, great. You know? Okay. Back to the good stuff. So, also I want to point out that this was really cool. That this is actually on Candace's own shop and it has Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 as one of the things for 2014 or 2024. I just like that this shows that we reached Candace Owens. Like it's not a thing where like Candace Owens was just like humoring me and humoring us in the investigation. Like she actually like believes that we have advanced technology. And the best part is she's right. She's right. United States government, the private military contractors, whatever you want to call it, they're hiding advanced technology from us. And we are going to find Edward C. Lynn. As you know, just as an MH370 update, we are going to end up finding Edward C. Lynn. Where is the Sabine thing? It wasn't that long ago, was it? Wasn't it just this weekend? Probably skipped right over it without looking. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Found it, chat. Okay. So this, God, and I want to comment real quick on this video. I'm not even, I'm going to watch it for a few minutes because you guys wondered, why was I making fun of the NPR tote bag and the organic broccoli toting people? Like, this is why. I don't know who this guy is, and I'm not trying to be rude. Like, some people are just doing their jobs. But if you're going to ask a question about the Defense Intelligence Reference Documents, also known as the DIRDs, which I have mentioned are the 38 most important papers, probably in scientific history, that have ever been published, you should at least have some concept of what's being discussed. I'm going to play you the first 15 seconds and then like the last 15 seconds of this real quick.
Defense Intelligence reference document on dark energy and traversable wormholes. Okay, pretty sexy science already. You theorized about a potential mass limit on traversable wormholes.
No, that's kind of garbled. That's not correct. I just pointed out that dark energy has a property in its equation of state. An equation of state for all matter.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize the next 4 minutes for you guys in English from Eric Davis. Basically, he says that dark energy is negative gravity, and that's what causes the expansion of the universe. So if we could harness dark energy, negative energy, then we could create a warp drive, because that's what's missing from Miguel Alcubierre's warp drive equations. And I believe he mentions the Casimir effect and the Casimir force being a negative energy, negative pressure energy effect. So then we get to the end here.
Under -3/4 of Jupiter's mass.
Okay, Eric.
A 1 meter diameter wormhole throat.
I have the unfortunate duty of moderating to move you away from a long technical explanation.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, I'm sure we gotta. We just went over most people's heads, including mine, since I'm not this, as you know. Now,
okay, so like they just did, yeah. You guys are getting like they didn't even. It's like, so I'm just gonna moderate and stop you, Eric Davis. Like, I wish I could have a conversation like that with Eric Davis. I would kill for a conversation like that with Eric Davis. This guy's like cutting him off because he's like, you know what? Okay, well, it's like too hard to like understand and stuff. So it's like, why are you talking to him then? Why are you talking to him? If you don't want him to start talking about negative energy, then GTFO. Do you know what that stands for? Go look it up on the Urban Dictionary. Can somebody who knows like anything about physics talk to Eric Davis? Like Dave Rossi talked to Eric Davis, and it was an amazing conversation. You guys need to check it out if you haven't. Talks about negative energy, how to make negative energy. Just explains how to make negative energy for like 5 minutes of just explaining how to make it. Meanwhile, you've got mainstream academics who are like, negative energy doesn't even exist. So I wanted to just rant about that for a second, because this is where I post this. And I post because you can summarize what Eric Davis is saying here in like 2 sentences, 3 sentences. It's true. He does rant for like 3 minutes. You could summarize it down, and that's what I'm here to do for you guys. Negative pressure, aka the Casimir effect, produces repulsive gravity. The Casimir force is a negative pressure force. Hence, dark energy is actually just negative energy. Warp drives are possible. See, it's not that complicated. It's actually pretty straightforward. This is what's crazy about the whole physics stuff. I thought, just like a lot of people who are new to this, you have to be some brainy PhD to understand all this. No, you don't. No, not at all. You can just be a normal person, and you can understand the concept of the nature of our reality. Anybody can understand it, especially the theoretical physicist side, which is what I would say I'm on, because obviously I can't do all the math at the moment, but I plan to learn that. And then the mathematical physicist, the experimental physicist side, is really more of like the engineering side of it. Now, I want to play real quick another clip. And this is going somewhere. How does Carl Nell spell his name? Like this? Shit. Oh, wait, do I not have it? Carl Nell faster. Let me see if this is right.
Point is faster than light travel. Everybody
Here-
says
here-
faster than light travel is not possible. This is false. Miguel Alcubierre.
Wait. Something was going on in my background. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Let me post it. Okay, so this is Carl Nell. He's associated to all this UFO stuff. I like this guy. Guys, I don't like a lot of people in the UFO community. I like Carl Nell, so I hope when I meet one of my heroes here, like he doesn't disappoint me, like so many of them have.
The second point is faster than light travel. Everybody says faster than light travel is not possible. This is false. Miguel Alcubierre, a postgraduate student at the University of Mexico.
Guys, for some reason, nobody can say Miguel Alcubierre's name correctly. I mean, it is a weird ass name, but come on, I'll help you guys out. Miguel, okay, we all got that. We all have Mexican gardeners. Don't cancel me. Alcubierre. 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 Miguel Alcubierre's warp drive. All we need for Alcubierre, alkaline berry, all we need for a warp drive is negative energy.
Mexico in 1994 solved Einstein's equations for an effective faster than light mechanism. NASA has investigated this. Everyone accepts his solution as valid. His solution requires negative energy. In 1960, quantum physics demonstrated or predicted the reality of negative energy. In the 90s, the Casimir effect was demonstrated in the laboratory.
No.
The Casimir effect demonstrates negative energy. The expansion of the universe, which is caused by dark energy, is negative energy.
Yahtzee.
So we have a solution to Einstein's equations that allow effective faster than light travel. We've got the existence of negative energy proven. This isn't an engineering solution. This isn't a means where we can go and do this, but theoretically, it's possible.
Bro, it's not just theoretically possible. It's happening. It's happening. It's been figured out by people on this planet right now. You might say, how do you know that, Ashton? How can you possibly say that? Guys, I would not be here right now if I didn't have some videos showing that it's definitely happening right here, right now on this planet. If those videos didn't exist, I would not be on social media doing any of this stuff or anything. That we're looking at negative energy. It looks exactly like what you would expect when you look at the theoretical physics of the scientific papers around wormholes and warp drives. Negative energy, when you look at free energy devices, which utilize this 0 point energy all around us, which is this negative energy, dark energy, they cool the region of space down when they're doing it because they're extracting energy from the vacuum. So this is the part where let me just show the rest of Sabine's stuff before I go on my I'm going to explain 0 point energy. Is that researching those videos led to this, basically this conclusion that you see right here. Negative pressure produces repulsive gravity. That means gravity has two forms. It's not just one direction. Keep this in mind. We think that gravity is only one direction because that's the only thing that we see. That's the only reason. But we know if the universe is accelerating as it's expanding, then there must be some negative gravity. The opposite of gravity must exist. We just don't see it anywhere. So we know there must be something that's out there, but we just, for some reason, pretend like it's not real. I don't know what to say. And then the Casimir force proves that we can actually engineer it at a level where we can see it with our eyes. We can see that there's this force where when we put two plates together, it's powerful enough that at the macroscopic scale, we can see it. And this is for Sabine as well. There are animals that are large that use the Casimir effect, the Casimir force. The gecko. The reason why geckos can stick to walls and ride around on the walls and be upside down, they're using the Casimir force because it's powerful enough that even something the size of a gecko is small enough to interact with it meaningfully so that it can be literally suspended in the air. Anti-gravity in some ways. So there are experiments that prove that it's out there. And then we shouldn't be thinking of dark energy as this thing that's out there. Dark energy is just negative energy. It's normal energy. Negative energy is just normal energy. It's not some magical substance that is exotic. Calling something an exotic substance is the biggest misinformation, disinformation psyop ever. It's either real or it's not. If it's in the equations and it's real, it's real. And if you're not finding it, it's because you're not looking at the problem the right way. And the problem that most physicists are doing is that they're looking at the glass as being empty. The glass is half full, and they're looking at it as being empty. So what this means is if the glass is half full, if the glass is empty, we can't produce warp drive. Because there's nowhere down to go. There's no negative energy. Where's the energy coming from? If the glass is half full, we've got all this energy here, then what's negative energy? What is negative energy, chat? Conceptually, just conceptually. Negative energy is this energy. If we pull this energy out, if this is equilibrium and the glass is half full and we're sitting on the surface of the glass, we wouldn't say the glass is empty. We'd say, no, the glass is half full. Where's the energy coming from? Down here, all this energy. Well, where is that energy? That energy is all around us everywhere. It's the ether. It's hard to really quantify. The way I would quantify it is imagine all the tiny scales of everything around us everywhere and add it all up. Add it all up. How much energy is that? Even in outer space, if you were to add up all the energy in the quantum level in a region of outer space, how much energy is there? It turns out when you do the math, it's a huge amount of energy, but practically an infinite amount of energy. We call this the vacuum energy. Well, so let me spoil it. Vacuum energy is 0 point energy, is the ether. These are all the same concepts. Now, some of the older concepts of the ether, yes, used like they called it an element. Other versions of the ether, it was like a fluid that was like a physical fluid. The version of the ether that we are referring to is a quantum level at the Planck scale below our perceivable reality on an extra dimension. That there's an extra dimension all around us that maybe represents all of space-time. And that itself holds all that energy. And it might be a weird situation where because it's extra dimensional in nature, you could argue that it's a huge amount of energy, but you could also argue that it's like one electron. At the end of the day, it's just one electron moving around in space and time at infinite speed and being in all places at the same time. So anyway, it gets kind of bizarre. Okay, so Sabine's response to this, factually wrong. The energy of dark energy is positive, and negative pressure does not produce repulsive gravity. Is that true? Is the dark energy positive? Let's ask Grok. I'm going to ask Grok. Everything I've read has said that it's negative in nature. I spoke to Avi Loeb. He said that the dark energy is what allows the universe to expand. To me, that would make it repulsive in nature, not positive. Am I going to be able to come back to this easily? Is the energy of dark energy positive or negative? Oh. Oh, yeah, here he goes. Positive energy density is associated with negative pressure. There we go. Boom. So technically positive energy density, but negative pressure. This is one of the things where in math, in the equations in math, the positives and negatives get kind of confusing. And it makes sense because it's just two sides, like plus and minus. Which side's the plus and which side's the minus? It gets easier when you say, oh, well, you're peeling an electron out or what have you. Also, real quick, before I close this out,
Point is faster than light.
Shout out to Carl Nell, because obviously he knows the truth here. But I think he's bullshitting. Either he doesn't know that we've engineered it or he's just lying about it. But he knows that we've got it. Okay, so negative pressure. And negative pressure does not produce repulsive gravity. This is the part where I think we're getting a little bit, and by the way, Navy Swarm thing is coming up next. I think we're getting a little sidetracked in terms of like, we're kind of trying to dig down into the minutia of definitions versus like, she knows what I mean here is that negative pressure does produce negative energy in terms of like the Casimir effect, so you just heard, it was Eric Davis saying it, and you just heard Carl Nell as well. It is the opposite of what we would expect from conventional gravity. And so that's why we can produce this repulsive or this attractive effect with the Casimir force and produce the means of what we would need for 1/2 of Miguel Alcubierre's warp drive. And this is what I would say in response to this is if this is like, this response here is like the equivalent of what I would expect on like Reddit. This is what I would expect on Reddit. Like just you claim to be a PhD physicist. Give me one experiment. Give me one experiment that proves me wrong. We've got the Casimir effect, Lamb shift, Aharonov-Bohm effect. We've got all of that on our side, just to name a few things that are experiments that are proven. Out of all of the people that have said like, oh, 0-point energy either doesn't exist or it's an insignificant amount of energy or that there's no way to pull energy from it, none of them have ever once given me one experiment that proves their position. And you're right, they don't have to prove a negative. But we've proven the positive with positive experiments. So at that point, if you're saying it's not real, you do need to present some counter evidence. Hopefully I'm not, and even the ether, we produced evidence to counter that the ether was debunked. The ether has not been debunked, actually. Unless somebody can explain this video, the ether has not been debunked.
360 degrees.
So you can see here that the lines don't move, but if you switch it and becomes vertical, you can see them moving. So all we had to do to prove that the ether was real was flip the Michelson-Morley experiment on its side. That was it. And it makes sense because the ether is related to gravity. So there you go. Okay. So I responded, dark energy is how we explain the expansion of the universe, which makes it repulsive by default. Seems like a good argument, right? This is where I don't like to try to argue about what's the definition of this or that, especially in physics where people use a lot of terms interchangeably. I just want to speak conceptually. If dark energy explains how the universe can expand faster than the speed of light, then whatever you consider dark energy to be, it's the answer to how we can produce a warp drive. Right? Simple as that. Now, let me also give you a thought experiment. And I would do the experiment right here, but it would make a mess. So I'm just going to pretend with something that doesn't have water in it, like this bottle here. Now, imagine you take some water in a bottle or a cup or whatever, and you pour it on your table or on the ground. What's going to happen with that water? That water is going to spread out. It's going to go and fill in. And what's it doing? Why is it spreading out? Why is it spreading out at all? It's going to spread out into the open area, but it's also going to stick together at the same time. This is also going to be true of energy. If I were to just take some energy out of nowhere and make it appear, thank you, quantum gravity, you've been on point, brother. It's going to reach an equilibrium, right? So same thing with energy entering our universe. So we have this empty universe, and I pour a bunch of energy and matter into it. What's going to happen? It's going to spread out. It's going to spread out, but it's also going to stick together. That's our universe. But that's not just our universe. That's our galaxies. That's our solar systems. That's what's happening in all these different scales. Because nature is scale invariant, and all the same physics applies at all these different scales. So however the universe spread out like that, if we can harness that, which is really just a negative pressure, right? It's negative pressure. Pressure is everything coming together. Negative pressure is I pour the water on the table, and what happens? Everything spreads apart. It goes to the area that exists there. So now what's happening is when I'm pouring the energy into the universe, it's filling up the universe until it reaches an equilibrium. And then it reaches an equilibrium, and then what? It stands still. It stops. It looks like it's not moving. That's the energy all around us. That's the 0 point energy all around us. That's what I'm trying to say. So that would make it so that negative energy is not an exotic substance. You wouldn't say when you pour the water on the table and the water spreads out that negative energy is causing the water to spread out. That's not what you would say at all. You would say you're just dealing with the medium of water and air and all the pressure of the atmosphere of our planet. Same is true with negative energy. All we're doing is we put the plates together. We cause a pressure because we're manipulating the 0 point energy all around us. That's all we're doing. So we're in a fluid of 0 point energy. All the empty space, we can manipulate that. And this is where one of the things, I didn't want to be rude to Sabine, but, and this is important for all you guys as well, is that it's very important to understand the interaction between positive and negative energy or positive and negative mass in the equations. Because when you cancel mass out, it has a very odd effect. Like it increases in acceleration when they hit, as opposed to decreasing acceleration, where if like two things collide, normally it stops their force. So when you make, the reason why Alcubierre's warp drive is so beautiful is that if you have an equivalent positive negative mass in front of you and positive mass behind you at the right distance or whatever you want to call it, you can create an equilibrium where you're just riding a gravity wave and you're not even moving. You're just sitting still, but space is moving around you. Like you've just stopped your region of space around you and you're just riding the wave. That's what's so beautiful about the interaction between negative and positive mass and energy. But it's somewhat counterintuitive because it's not really exactly opposite effects. But it's important to understand how our universe is the way that it is. Because the only way we can achieve faster than light travel is if we understand the nature of negative energy and what it really means. Because that's what we need for the math to work out. And this is a weird claim. The universe would also expand without dark energy? Is that true? I think that this is the fundamental problem. This right here, this post right here is the fundamental problem. I think this is really Sabine's view. Is that Sabine's view is that dark energy is just this one tool that's used to explain how the universe expanded faster than we think is possible. Versus the way that I look at it is that I'm not trying to explain all these different things with different tools, different solutions. The ether, 0 point energy explains all of them. All of them. The origin of mass, inertia, gravity explains dark energy, dark matter, explains basically everything that we currently don't understand about physics. It explains how our solar system can be stuck together when it doesn't look like it should be able to be for a long period of time. This is what I think. Yeah, so I don't think this is true. And I think that this shows as well is that from Sabine's point of view, if you pour the water on the table, she says it's always going to spread out. Well, no, because the only reason why the water's spreading out is there's places for it to go. And that's really all that dark and negative energy is. It represents the energy spreading out. And then what people need to understand is that there's energy all around you. There's energy everywhere. So if all you want to do is interact with that, if you want to interact with that energy and create those effects, you just need to interact with that energy all around us. Yeah, zero is not nothingness, I think. And that's a weird phrase to say, but it's true. This is a great comment here by Caleb. Zero is not nothingness. Is that when we get to what we call absolute zero, it's not zero. That's just equilibrium. That's just where my hands are. This all down here is below zero. How do you, and that's a weird concept, but how do we know that's true? We know that's true because we see that some elements don't freeze at absolute zero. How is helium-3 not becoming a solid at absolute zero? There's only one answer. There's energy below that level. So that level can't be zero. There has to be more. Simple as that. Okay, so going back to this, let's finish this bad boy up. So then I just counted, like, based on what facts? What even is space-time? Where is gravity coming from? Without answers to these questions, you can't possibly make a claim like this. All space-time is made up of an energy density. Even Avi Loeb admits this. That energy density is what gives our universe form. It's what gives it shape, right? Just like with the water. So you imagine that the energy density all around us is the water. You pour the water. Oh, I almost poured actual stuff out there. You pour the water out onto the table. It's going to spread out. The energy density is giving our universe form. That is your energy density, dark energy, and that is where everything is more sticky than it should be. So what is negative energy? Pulling that trapped energy out of equilibrium. This is what you guys need to know. What is negative energy? You're pulling energy out of equilibrium. This is equilibrium. You're pulling energy out. Give me that energy. Give me that energy. Let me go full screen just in case people want to clip this. You give me that energy. You're pulling that energy out of the equilibrium. You give me that energy. That's free energy that you're taking out. You can do whatever you want with. You want to power stuff with it? You want to run some plasma orbs with it? Do fusion with it? Think of the best thing you could do with energy and do that. Transmute elements. That's negative energy. And then the last thing I'm trying to tell these people is that's Eric Davis in that video. That's not just some random kook on this off the street. He's literally the government's go-to physicist on ball lightning, aka large super weapon drones, aka balls of plasma, and warp drives and wormholes. Eric Davis is on the bigot list. I found out what that means, by the way, guys. You know what? Grok probably knows, chat. Grok probably knows. What does bigot stand for in special access program lists? Okay, let's see if Grok knows. I saw this in a post, guys. We were wondering what bigot list stands for. Somebody told me. Yeah, here it is. This is what it is. Wait, no, wait, what? Oh, yeah. British invasion of North Africa is what it stood for, or something like that. Bigot. To Gibraltar. Okay. So anyway, I have some kind of World War II concept is the bigot list. So anyway, Eric Davis is on these bigot lists, guys, and these academic physicists do not understand the significance of this at all. To them, they're like, Eric Davis's claims don't matter unless he like shows me, you know, a free energy device or shows me a gravity propulsion drone, you know? And Eric Davis is like, no, I'm not trying to show you that stuff. I don't care what you think. So that puts us in a sticky situation. So I reached out to Sabine and I asked her if she would come on my podcast. told her that, look, we don't need to talk about the missing plane. We don't need to talk about conspiracies. I just want to talk about physics. That's all I want to talk about. Unfortunately, I kind of declined. I'm not really sure, but here's the thing that I wanted to just heart to heart with Sabine is like, I want Sabine on my side on this because she's the kind of physicist that doesn't give a shit about what other people think. And she's an independent thinker. She's on no one's side in terms of how her thought process works. And yeah, I like her from that perspective. So, and she's a big skeptic as well. So getting someone like her won over to the 0 point energy side would be massive. It would be massive. So I've targeted her as the person who, I mean, it's pretty unlikely because she's a tough nut to crack. But I think we might be able to convince her eventually. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Okay. Let me look at my list here. Next thing. Okay, the drones real quick. Okay, one thing I want to tell you about the drones, guys. Oh, yeah, so I want Sabine on my team. Yeah, she's cool, guys. And let me do some super chats as well. Then we got Ronnie. Thank you very much, Ronnie. Habuchella Condulce, thank you. Can D-device power orbs? Yeah. DW, like opening door DW is huge. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Pippi. Again, doesn't it sound strange that if the U.S. really has alien spacecraft and alien technology, Elon Musk wouldn't have access to it when we could colonize? Yeah. Who wants to go to Mars? Why would we want to go to Mars? If we have this level of technology, who cares about Mars? Mars is insignificant. Who cares about Mars? Go to another Earth somewhere else. Distance doesn't matter. Realize if distance doesn't matter, why are we talking about Mars at all? There's probably a paradise that's like 10 times better than Earth out there as well. That's where I'm going. Levy, they fail to realize what equations mean in reality. Energy is negative or positive depending on if you're extracting or expelling it. You may be taking it from somewhere, but you're gaining it from somewhere else. And that's a weird way to think about it, right? But that is what's happening. We're always exchanging energy, even when we're exchanging energy with the environment. And this is why people say that, this is why people argue, whether or not you would disagree. This is why people say that a heat pump is an over unity device. You're like, what? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I finally learned why. You know what? I'm going to say that again. Let's trigger some people. And before I do that, Chase, thank you for the donation. Appreciate you. I'm probably going to talk to Bob Green here again soon. A heat pump is an over unity device. No, it's not. That's impossible. It can't be. Well, what are you getting out of the heat pump? The heat pump pumps heat into your room. So you would ask yourself, how much energy is in that heat? Quite a lot. Quite a lot of energy is in that heat to heat up your room. And how much energy is it using to put that heat into your room? Less than it's actually adding. Because if it was producing less, then you would just use another form of heat. You would just use a space heater, or you would just use a gas heater, or whatever else to heat your room, or a fire, right? That's the whole point of the heat pump, is it's more efficient. So how is it more efficient? Because it's taking heat from one region and it's just reorganizing its location. It's saying, this heat that's trapped over here, move that heat over here. And the way that it moves it is through electromechanical means. Something like that. That's why it's a heat pump. So when you think about it in terms of just moving heat around, and heat is just energy, and then you just imagine that energy is interchangeable with any other form of energy, that helps you understand the universe a lot more. It really is like the Matrix. We're just balls of energy. That's energy over there as well. And that's radiating heat energy. If I were to go near it, there's a little bit of heat energy. That's how you should think about the universe. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing the Matrix thing. See if you guys are paying attention. I was actually planning on doing that where I would just say the same thing twice in a row and see if I could just freak people out. You're featured in the new video on the anonymous YouTube channel. We'll probably have to go check that out in a minute. Their channel has like millions of subscribers. Yeah, you got to tell me. There's like a million fake anonymous though out there. Can someone get a link to that maybe for me? Okay, real quick though, before we get to that, there's another story I want to tell you before we start talking about the drone thing, and then maybe we'll switch gears. Although I promised you guys DEWs. So I was in this economics class freshman year in college, and the professor, I like snuck into the class basically. The professor was this guy, Douglas North. He was an economics Nobel Prize winner. And God, I can't remember the name of his book right now. I still have it actually. It's probably in the other room. And I remember in his book, one of the things that I loved, his analogy, he talked about traffic, is that would you consider traffic to be efficient or inefficient? What a weird question. Is traffic efficient or inefficient? A lot of people say, well, it's inefficient. I'm stuck in traffic. It takes me, if there was no traffic, it would take me a really long time. It would take me way less time to get home. Traffic is really inefficient. But at the same time, you would argue, look at how many interactions are happening in traffic. How many times people are hitting the brakes, reacting to other people, and how few accidents there are, given the total number of interactions that's happening on the road. From that perspective, you could argue that traffic is extremely efficient. There should be way more accidents happening on the road, given the total number of human interactions that are happening on the road all the time. Why am I bringing this story up? Dun, dun, dun. Shit, wait for it. Oh, shit, where is it? Damn it. I thought I had the clip ready to go. No, I just screwed it up. Where is it? Oh, no. Oh, crap. Okay, hold on. I'll go. That's so weird it didn't pull it up. I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel here. I've got it shared. This is why. Oh, I didn't. I saved it on my phone, I think was why. Okay, here we go. This is why. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so this got shared. Somebody pinged me on this, and I looked, and they have 400,000. Who is this? 400,000 followers. I can't believe someone with 400,000 followers has their DMs open. By the way, you must be out your mind to have your DMs open. You guys have no idea how many DMs and messages across Discord and Twitter every day. And I don't mean to put people down, but there are people out there that like send you like 20 to 30 messages a day. There's people out there mine. Anyway, so he shared this and said, reminds me of the MH370 videos that researchers like Ashton Forbes have been discussing. Source in the link. And I'm looking at this, and right away, the first thing you're thinking is the three-body problem. Right? You're thinking about the three-body problem. Thinking about how do objects move around in space. And this is what they're really, thinking about, is that, God, it's just so crazy that people can't accept these videos are real. Look at how, here's the thing, chat. When this orb comes in, I don't think computers could even have done this. I don't think you could even 3D render this with computers in 2014, like in any decent amount of time. Trying to get orbs to move like that in a three-dimensional environment, like what we're looking at right there, with computers while you're moving the screen around and shit. If you didn't do that after, or however you do this, like, this is, if you actually boil this down, the complexity of this video is off the charts. The complexity of this video is off the charts, which is why when people try to say this is some easy video they could have made, it goes to show they have no idea what they're talking about. I don't even think the orb spinning around the plane is something that could have been done. And the main reason why I say this is that people have tried to recreate that video. I think the guy named Don Burgess or something like that is one where you see this one. He looks really dumb. I don't know if he's a dumb guy, but everybody does these stupid thumbnails where they're like, and you're like, okay, so he's got one where he's like, I recreated the video. And his orbs, like, they look like completely, the way the orbs spin around the plane in his video doesn't even look anything like the real videos. Which goes to show you that, like, with a video, like with orbs that are moving around the plane, like in this video, the way that they're moving around the plane, there's no way somebody did this in with like what, some plug-in or something. I mean, how do you even do that? How do you even map the orbs around the plane like that? And it turns out when people like graphed out the movement of the orbs, it's a perfect sphere around the plane. That's not just like a random movement around the plane. And then it changes too. So that's why people think about it when they see stuff like this. So I said, okay, well, where the hell did this come from? Where did this come from? I want to take a look. Okay, so where's my link to that thing? So it comes from this channel. Sorry, I'm moving some of my links around. Let's go to this one. Okay. So it comes from this channel. And it says, in 2018, I presented my work at the Trident and Scalar conference. You can watch my presentation below. Now, we're not going to watch all this because it was actually kind of boring. I went through it and watched most of it. It's basically talking about the movement of objects in 3 dimensions. So it's about drones. It's about drones' movement in 3 dimensions circling another object. And it's pretty interesting if you look at this. Honors paper, Trident paper. I only know of one Trident, and they're an evil company, so I don't know if it's associated with that or not. My collaboration with the Naval Research Lab. So they collaborated with the Naval Research Lab. Dynamics of interacting swarms. Yeah, you know I clicked on that for sure. We're not going to have time to go into it tonight, but we'll just take a look. Oh yeah, I forgot. The dynamic of interacting swarms, there was nothing in there. There's nothing in the link. So let's look at the fun stuff, guys. I know how you guys are. Like, it's just images, just videos. Nobody wants like the hard science. I already did enough hard science for you guys today. So this is like basically the dynamics of drones spinning around another object. Chat, I get one F word, right? Children, earmuffs. Why the fuck are they researching this? Why the F are they researching this, chat? Are you kidding me? This is like the weirdest research ever, unless you know that we are having orbs spinning around planes. If you've got orbs spinning around planes, this makes perfect sense. In any other reality, what the hell are we doing? What is this? Why are you doing this? And why is this getting honors? And why is this being sponsored by the Naval Research Labs? Am I the only one on crazy pills here? Like, I'm actually just to the point now where I'm like, there's so much open source stuff that only makes sense in the context of like weird advanced orb technology and makes no sense otherwise. Like this. I mean, look at this thing. What is this spinning around here? Like, basically what he said when he researched this is like, it doesn't just spin normally. It spins like gravity, where like it's being pulled by the various like combined gravitational forces. But what's beautiful about looking at this is like, he also talks about how you can like manipulate the movements of this. Like, that's what this is all about. It's not just about like, hey, this is how this neat thing we saw. It's about like, we can manipulate the movements of these objects in 3 dimensions. We can manipulate the movement of these orbs. So you guys have seen all these Chinese drone displays where they show these elaborate drone displays. This is the U.S. Navy figuring out, how do we weaponize this? How do we turn this into a weapon or a shield, or just how do we weaponize it in general? That's what they're doing here. So, you know, sleep tight, chat. Sleep tight. Now let's get to the spicy stuff, the fun stuff, the videos of the drones. Here you go, chat. Here's some code or something. Oh, look, here we go. Just in case you thought like, oh no, it's not going to be like really or drones. No, but he's definitely 100% talking about drones flying around three-dimensional space. Here it is, drone swarms. And chat, if this is some random like student, like look at this. So clearly, what are they trying to do here? Why did I bring up the analogy? I love this video, by the way. Because, guys, traffic. Look at what we're looking at. Are they being efficient or are they being inefficient right now? I'd argue they're being very efficient right now. And look, they're getting into formation. Look at them getting into formation. They get into a circle. And once they find their circle, they become in an equilibrium. And once they're in equilibrium, boom, look at that. Boom. They just naturally fall into an equilibrium rotation around a specific point in space and time wherever you want. How does that not remind you of the MH370 videos? Just how is this even possible? How are we even to this level of technology? And if this is what some random guy in the US Navy was working on, imagine how much further the US government really is. Imagine how much further advanced they really are. If this is just what they're showing to us publicly here. I'm going to show it just again because it's wild, but I'm going to go put my face on the screen here. Yeah, so this is basically what he was studying. Yeah, this is I have to post this video on my YouTube channel. This is, or not my YouTube channel, but I posted on my my X account. And you know, the thing I love about being a science influencer is that once you know the truth, whether or not other people want to believe it or not, it's pretty easy to find the stuff that like, this looks pretty mundane from the outside perspective. This looks really mundane and it doesn't make any sense. You're like, what is this? Why do I care about this? Are we working on Chinese drone displays? And you're like, no, we're working on how to teleport an object with some orbs. And you're like, oh. You're like, look at this again, guys. Like, use your mind, open your mind up and look at this and go, why the hell would we care about what we're looking at here? Why do we care about drones spinning around another object? Why does the US Navy care about drones spinning around another object? Well, this is a US Navy operation you're looking at in this video that they did to this plane. And what are we seeing? Oh, this is, by the way, if you're somehow living under a rock, this is the second video to the first one I just showed you. And there's 3 orbs in a perfect triangle formation spinning around the plane and then zapping it into Narnia. The passengers went to Narnia and they're living in Narnia, but unfortunately time works on a different scale in Narnia and it's been 1,000 years for them. So sorry, they're not coming back, chat. Okay. So let's go back to this. Actually, that's pretty much it. So it actually wasn't really that deep. It wasn't like there was any amazing revelation. To me, it was just one more of those things where it's like, hey, this is one of those things that they're working on that, you know, the public just doesn't really understand the significance of why it's so important. But if you've been watching my research, you're like, huh, this is another piece of the puzzle that adds up towards what we've been saying, which is that they are plasma drones. And I only call them plasma drones because it looks like a ball of plasma. It would probably look like a ball of light if you saw one. But there's likely something inside of it that's producing the plasma on the outside. Likely, not necessarily, but likely. Okay. And if you want to know all the answers, I'm sorry, I don't really have all of them. Like, I've been working at this for like a year, trying to solve the greatest mystery in world history, just so that I can solve and get people to admit that those plane videos are real. Now, any last questions? Let's hit up some of these donations. Any last questions on the drone situation? I just think it's cool when you look at what the Navy is working on, and I just like to shine a light on it. I think I already got this one. Yes, and thanks again, Levy. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the donations tonight. Thank you again, Chase. Thank you, John. The Y-Files alluded to prior physicists who created zero-point energy tech met with untimely deaths. Yet decades later, Salvatore Pais is a patent owner. Salvatore Pais, in the last live stream we did about Salvatore Pais, he even said that he wasn't sure why his patents were allowed to come out. He thinks that maybe he alluded to the idea that possibly someone wanted it to come out, and that's why they allowed it to happen. ML, Sabine reviewed warp drive paper on YouTube, I remember, with thumbnail looking, warp drives, new simulations. Yeah, I remember that. But these warp drive people are never going to get it until they understand negative energy. They're never going to produce a warp drive until they have negative energy. That's just how it is. I'm not trying to be rude or egotistical. It just is what it is. It's like, if you don't understand anything about aerodynamics, you can't understand how a plane could fly, right? If you don't understand the ether, you're not going to produce a warp drive. Simple as that. No matter how much positive energy you produce, you'll never produce enough without understanding the ether to actually get a warp drive to happen. And so that's the thing with Sabine. It's like, okay, if you don't understand that, then of course it's always going to seem silly to you. And man, I really wish I could somehow get her on my side, but I don't know. I just don't know how you do it. Like, how do you convince somebody who spent their whole life being indoctrinated by a way of thinking that, oh, nope, sorry, like you were wrong. You're not entirely wrong, but like you got some big pieces wrong. And turns out Einstein wasn't quite as smart as you're giving him credit for. Still a pretty smart guy. How do you convince them that you know something because you saw it in some videos of missing plane that proves that, sorry, you spent 40 years doing this. It's not for nothing. It's just you were wrong. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I really have no idea, chat. I never thought I'd be in this position in my life. And Levy, 2 more times, thank you. There's no separation from the 0-point field. We're all made from it. So when you're extracting from the 0-point field, you're just moving it from somewhere else and repurposing it. And I would argue that is 100% true. Doesn't that just make more sense? Here's the number one thing you can say. Anybody tries to push back on you, any of my followers, anyone who just believes the similar viewpoint of the universe as me, when they try to push back on you, you just say, so where did all the energy in the universe come from? Where energy is matter. Where did all the energy come from? They would say the Big Bang. Okay, where did that energy come from? Oh, it came from nowhere. Oh, it came from nowhere? I thought you just said energy can't come from nowhere. Which is it? Oh, well, that one time energy is allowed to come from nowhere. Just that one time. After that, it's impossible. After that, it's pseudoscience. That one time energy came from nowhere and then never again. Why? Why that one time? When did it happen? What were the circumstances that allowed it to be that way? Well, we can't tell you. That's just one of the mysteries of the universe. So it's kind of like faith. Dun, dun, dun. Dramatic chipmunk. So doesn't it just make more sense that all the energy in the universe just always came from the 0-point energy, including the Big Bang? If the Big Bang happened, doesn't that just make way more sense? Makes more sense to me, chat, that all the energy in the universe didn't come from nowhere one time. It always comes from, even this energy right here, all the energy everywhere always came from the 0-point energy field. And it will always go back to it in one large cycle of energy. So thank you, Levy. That was a great point. I appreciate that. I like when people are getting it and want to share that. So thank you for the donation and sharing that thought. And then Yowza, I don't know, Yoza. Time is the real currency, Ashton. Thank you for spending it all on us. You're 100% correct. It really is. Time is the most valuable currency, guys. Time is the thing that we'll never get back. Let's do it. Directed energy weapons. Okay, let's start with the spiciest right off the bat. Do I have this one on video? I have one of them on video. I want to do the other one that triggered people in the community noting me. I don't care about community notes, chat. As long as they're not on my MH370 videos, I don't care. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. So this is actually real. The funny part is I got community noted on a real post, which is funny. I actually did not know when I shared this that they took a picture and they just added a little bit of like graphic to it to make it look like it's, they turned it into a 5-second GIF using AI. But no, that's actually a real image. That's actually the real ship really testing this weapon. And even in the original picture, You can see it shooting the beam. It's not like they added the beam in there or anything like that. So for this post to get community noted is like kind of ridiculous. Anyway, let's just watch this. This is the USS Preble Fire. I mean, what is this? The stupidest name for a ship? Let's just call this the USS Donald Trump. You know what? Unless there's already one. The USS Donald Trump is firing a Helios laser weapon. This is real. They actually really tested this like 2 days ago. Look at this thing. It's shooting a freaking beam. Look at that. And so when I saw the community note, I went, oh, come on, man. Are people really like this obsessed? And I don't really care. Fine. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I don't really care about community noted. Unless it's on my MH370 videos. Don't you dare put some fake debunk shit on my MH370 videos. So fine. Okay. You want to debunk this? Even though it's like literally real. Let me just read a real quote from the real article. There's the weapon right there on the front. This is the real thing, by the way, on the real ship. This is the real thing. You're looking at it. So who makes this? This is the first U.S. Navy vessel equipped with the Helios, a 60 kilowatt class directed energy laser weapon developed by Lockheed Martin, of course. Guys, one of the quotes somebody said was like, do you know which companies? I think it was the Jake Barber guy. It was like, do you know which companies have this UFO tech? And he was like, if I gave you 2 guesses, you'd get it right on both of the guesses. Yeah, it's Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. It's Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. They're the ones who have the UFO shit. It's not a mystery. They're the ones who have it, 100%. If they want to come at me, bring their lawyers, bro. Bring their lawyers and then bring Joseph F. Dunford down, executive board of directors or whatever. Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about plasma orbs and directed energy weapons. It's the first laser weapon integrated with the Aegis combat system, a key feature that enhances the ship's ability to track, engage, and neutralize threats. Okay, well, I can read between the lines. Basically, Skynet has won, chat. Skynet has won. There's no doubt in my mind this Aegis combat system is connected to the Artis. What's it? I already forget the name of it. What's the name of the AI that took us over? See, the AI probably made me forget its name. It's like Artris or Artris AI, Lockheed Martin. Oh, shit, chat. I can. Astris AI. Thank you. Big Pooh, where were you at? You were leaving me hanging. The Astris AI is probably connected to this Aegis system. That's probably how they're doing all the tracking and all this. Exactly. It's Jarvis. It's Jarvis. It's the USS Donald Trump, and basically it's the Jarvis system. I'm going to have my own. I can't wait, by the way, chat. I can't wait till I have my own little Jarvis right here. How dope will streaming be if I just have a little AI floaty plasma ball Jarvis that you can just interact with? But like, Jarvis, replay that clip from a second ago. Jarvis, play this clip. Oh, my God. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Okay, back to the task at hand. So basically, Skynet has already been turned on, and it's like already integrated into our most advanced combat systems in real time, and we're just kind of pretending like it's not happening. So people are community noting me and shit like that, and I was like, okay, fine. You want to community note me? You want to community note me, you little bitch? Okay. You know what? I'll double down. Where is it? Where is it, chat? Where is it? God, I am just a mess today. Where's my other one? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, let's go. Oh, now what do we have here? Come on, pause. What do we have here? The USS Portland tests LWSD. Let's just call it directed energy weapon. Pacific Ocean, USS Portland successfully tested solid state laser technology maturization laser weapon demonstrator. You want to put a community note on this, bitch. Put a community note on this. That's a drone, by the way. Let's watch it again. Watch it again. Ooh. That ain't AI, bro. There's no AI in this one. Zap. Kamehameha. Hadouken! So yeah, we got some laser weapons. Let's just exactly. You played yourself, community notes. You played yourself. You called my bluff, and Ashton came back with the receipts. This, by the way, was on the government's YouTube channel. So this is the source of this video is beyond reproach, let's say. And I have another corroborating source as well. So people trying to say we don't have directed energy weapons, they're out their mind. Now that we've shown directed energy weapons are real, in fact, I wonder, can I just play this on like a loop or something like that? Let me see if I can just play this on a loop. I've got the video here. Okay, there we go. Now, people ask, like, what can a directed energy weapon do? So directed energy weapons go back to like the 60s. I did a little bit of research on them. And a lot of people have said that, like, well, there's been a lot of conspiracies around them. People have claimed they're related to 9/11. People have claimed that they can use directed energy weapons to modify the weather. People have claimed that they can use directed energy weapons to create earthquakes. So when you're dealing with these scalar forces, electromagnetic in nature, they can produce all these types of effects. And they can produce, obviously, energy at a distance. Or you can use conventional directed energy weapons like a laser beam, and that's also a directed energy weapon. Because at the end of the day, directed energy weapon is just energy that you're focusing and beaming to another distant location. And when you think about, again, just moving energy around from one location to the next in a simple form like that, you think, okay, yeah, sure, of course it's possible. We're seeing it. We're seeing it right here. Yeah, and what is a laser beam? So a laser beam is light is bosons, meaning that bosons don't have to, or bosons can share the same point in space and time. So they can collapse down onto a single point is what bosons can do. So a laser is light when it's focused down onto a single point. And so you can amplify energy because it can focus down onto a single point in space and time. So if you take one wave on one point in space and time and add another wave, now you've doubled the amount of energy. And you just keep doing that. Right? That's a laser. So fermions cannot share the same point in space and time. But fermions are important. Why? Because fermions make it so my hand doesn't go through the cup. Can't share the same place in space and time. So understanding bosons and fermions is very important when it comes to understanding lasers and directed energy weapon technology. So there's been a lot of different applications for them. And then there's, of course, you've had the disinformation and the misinformation in the mainstream media that would claim that it's Jewish space lasers or whatever other nonsense like that. And they say that stuff because they want the people that are researching directed energy weapons to seem like they're kooky and what have you. Very few people are saying stuff like that. Although it obviously, when you see stuff like the video that I was showing a second ago, this one, you can imagine, why would you not put this on a satellite? Why would you not put this on a satellite? Only because it's too far away. That's the only reason. So then the big question is this. Are directed energy weapons actually, are they actually scalar devices, or are they using conventional physics? That's the real question at play. Is what we're looking at here really using conventional physics, or are they hiding it and it's actually using non-conventional physics? That's the big mystery related to directed energy weapons, at least for me. Because in some cases with technology like this, I think some cases it's both. In some cases, I think that they build technology that only adheres to conventional understanding of physics. And then from a non-conventional perspective, they keep it back. But here's the big kicker, is that when it comes to energy and beaming energy, the big problem is the inverse square law. That's the big problem. And this means that your energy output, depending on how far you're trying to send it, it falls off very quickly with distance. Inverse square law means the energy level falls off with the square of the distance. That's a big problem. So there are ways to make it more efficient. Packing the energy in tight, focused beam can make it more efficient. And the funny part is when you actually, I grokked this earlier today. I grokked it. I said, hey, Grok, how is it that they can beam a laser beam for like over a really long way? Like, I don't know, a mile, 2 miles, however long that thing was going. How can they beam the energy that far? And Grok basically just says, like, they just make it like really efficient. Like, that's all that Grok really says. You're like, how? What? And I mean, it lays out like the God, what is it? The resistance thing. I forget the name of it. I have to go look. But it lists out some of the math, but it doesn't really go into full detail on it. And that's the problem where if it's like coming from, if you're like on a ship and you're shooting at something that's really close to you, it could work really well. If it's close by, it would work really well. But if it's like, a high, even if it's at like above cruising altitude, let's just take 40,000 feet. And thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you. Yes, this is how I say it, both. That's how I say it, chat. I'm from Minnesota. I've got a weird accent. People have made fun of this exact way I say it, but I hate you. 40,000 feet. Let's just estimate it down to 8 miles. 40,000 feet is a little bit under 8 miles. 8 miles. I don't think that this conventional physics is going to allow a laser beam to have any significant impact at an object 8 miles away. Way too far. Way too far. You're not going to take down an airplane 8 miles away. So you're not going to be able to take down a plane if it's at cruising altitude with this weapon. But maybe you could take down drones that are relatively close by. Kamikaze drones or a drone that has a payload or something like that. Just a couple miles away, it could probably take them down. Now, when we are talking about scalar physics, there's no limit. There's no limit at all anymore. When you're talking about scalar physics, we're talking about literally like near perfect efficiency, making energy appear at any distance that we want. So that would be a whole nother level. The real question is what they've engineered in these devices, is this more powerful than what they claim? Now, what I'll say is this. They claim that the first one I showed you, they claimed it was 60 kilowatts. So that's 60,000 watts. But when you look it up on Wikipedia, Google it or whatever, it says it can potentially go up to 300 watts, 300 kilowatts, which is 6 times as powerful. 5 times as powerful. 5 times as powerful. That's a pretty big difference. 1 to 5 times. I'd say, which is it? What's the max on it? Is the max on it 100% or is it 500%? Seems kind of like a significant thing, and that range seems like really, really wide. Shouldn't we know a little bit more details about that? So that's where, okay, I'm being a little bit conspiratorial. That's what happens, chat. When you find out we have magical technology, you get a little conspiratorial. It happens. I'm just saying, I'm curious as to what I would like to see the full power of one of these laser beams. Because if it is a scalar type weapon that can interfere at a distance and produce energy at a distance, then you can put it on a satellite. Because at that point, 8 miles, 800 miles, who gives a shit? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can just zap them anywhere. And the reason why I bring this up is it goes to show how much of a technological difference there would be between a civilization or a country that has just conventional laser weapons and a conventional understanding of physics, and the country that would understand that there is 0-point energy in the ether that can harness that. Imagine the difference between your laser can shoot for a couple miles versus my laser can shoot at you from outer space. There's no contest. That's like saying you've got spears and I've got machine guns. You can never even get close to me. Gun you down. You coming at me with your spear? Even if you're on a horse, sure, take a horse. Take a shield as well. Put some armor on. Good luck. I've got an AR-15. You know, it's like, so this is like the reason why I bring this up is it goes to show the jump in technology from where we're at right now to where we're at with UFO technology. You're going to hear me call it UFO technology because I'm never going to call it UAPs ever again. If you hear me call it UAPs, it's because I'm quoting someone or I'm quoting the way that they call it. So it's either UFO technology or 0-point energy technology, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I'm not saying it's coming from aliens. It's one of the options, but this level of technology is such a huge jump. Like, that's what we have to just start getting used to. That's what we have to start getting used to is we're going from sticks and stones to plasma guns now. We're going from harvesting crops to Star Trek replicators. That's quite the jump. That's like if you guys, for my video game lovers who are out there, that's like you go out there and you're trying to join, like, let's say Diablo. Elon Musk loves Diablo. You join Diablo and you're like, oh, I'm going to go join the game with my buddy who's like max level and he's going to run me through the zones and I'm going to catch up to him. We're basically like the level 20 barbarian who's like still like slowly whacking at the little mob. And then Elon Musk rolls in with hardcore mode, level 100 gear, and just like one-shots the mob. And in this scenario, Elon Musk is like all the other civilizations that are out there. We're just like the noob civilization in like our blue and like our greens and gray level gear. And all the other civilizations are rocking out like perfect BIS. BIS means best in slot, legendary gear, fully enchanted, all that shit. There you go. So for my nerds that are out there, I just boiled down all like 0-point energy for you in a way that you can understand. You get it? All the other civilizations out there, they're in full BIS. And we're rocking like offset, wrong kind of gear pieces. Like we never looked up any guides. Like we have no idea what's going on. We got the wrong gear on, wrong color, like wrong, like just everything's wrong. Like we're not even wearing like a belt because we just like think it's bad juju. Actually, true story. In one of the games I would play, my brother wouldn't wear a helmet because he didn't like the way it looked on his model, even though it would like give him more protection. Like, wait, you just don't like the way it looks? That's like us right now. That's humanity right now. Basically, we're dumb as hell. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to show you guys tonight. Back in the day, chat, if you want to know, I played all the games, everything. You have no chat. I'm one of the OG gamers. Every Super Nintendo game. Nobody had more Super Nintendo games than me, period. Everything. All the online games, everything. And yes, I'm not trying to be cocky, but I was good at all of them. All of them. I just love video games. Don't really have time for it as much anymore. Okay, now here's some corroborating evidence that I want to go with that I want to show you as well. Oh, and also JK Philly fan wanted me to show you guys this. No, I didn't play RuneScape. No, that's the one I didn't play. So in the Lockheed Martin, if you're not OGs, later, Lauren, my #1 obsessed fan, thank you. If you're not OGs, Lockheed Martin has a coherent matter wave beam patent. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let me just say it again for you. Coherent matter wave beam patent. Lockheed Martin 2013. In that patent, it literally says you can use that patent for directed energy weapons right there. And boom, there it is. Full screen. Let me just read it. Examples of applications for coherent matter wave beams may include signal bath terminal energy extraction. What does signal bath terminal energy extraction mean? I mean, that sounds like pulling 0-point energy out. But you know what? What can I say? I'm not a PhD physicist. Ultra-sensitive accelerometers and interferometric tracking of air and spacecrafts. That I do understand. An interferometer tracking system is a quantum tracking system, probably. A more accurate alternative to global positioning systems. Wow. A more accurate alternative to GPS. Matter wave projectiles and missiles, and directed energy weapons. Oh, and also matter wave optics and cloaking, because that's normal. Matter wave optics and cloaking. Matter waves emission and propulsion. Matter wave solitons. High energy collisions. I mean, this sounds like a Swiss Army knife. That's what this patent sounds like when you read that. Okay. Now, where's the thing? Oh, did I close it? Wait a second, chat. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's so confusing when I use multiple devices. Okay, so here's my other corroboration. And did we get more super chats? J-Trend, super sticker. Still don't know what super sticker means, chat. This time, I'm just honestly too ashamed to ask. Okay. So I found this. How did I find this? I actually don't even remember. Someone may have sent this to me. I may have Googled this. I don't even remember. Updated July 11th, 2024. Okay. Congressional Research Services, Department of Defense, Directed Energy Weapons, background and issues for Congress. Chat, just, are there people out there that think we don't have directed energy weapons? I'm really just kind of confused. Like, are there really people that think we don't have directed energy weapons? Like, I mean, I'm just okay. Let's go. Let's read. Okay, so blah blah blah. We spent a lot of money on it, and directed energy weapons. Okay, neat. Okay, so when it talks about some different kinds they have here, this one I like the most because its acronym is Chimera, counter electronic, high power, microwave, extended range, air-based defense. Tactical high powered operational responder, Thor. Look at this one. Self-protected high energy laser demonstrator, Shield. I think some of the, oh yeah, and look, we see a familiar one down here. SNLWS increment 1, Helios. That's the one. Helios is the one that we were just posting today. That's the one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. The high energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance, Helios. The Helios effort is focused on rapid development and rapid fielding of a 60 kilowatt class high energy laser. Used for countering drones. That's what UAS stands for. They've got a million acronyms. Yeah, exactly. You guys, they started just all acronyms. Guys, if you're not familiar with the government, everything is acronyms in the government. I'm a contractor for the government, so I know. Like, they send me stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what these acronyms mean. They'll just be like, oh, get the BLT. And I'm like, is that from Burger King? And they're like, no. The BLT is the basic lecture training. You're like, oh, okay. Why do we use an acronym for that? Just say it. Just say it. Fast inshore attack craft. I have no idea what that means. And ISR sensors. So ISR sensors, I've actually learned what this means, chat. Guys, when you know what ISR sensors means, you have done too much research into the United States surveillance apparatus. ISR stands for intelligence, or something like intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So basically, ISR is like enemy spy satellites or enemy spy drones, basically, is what ISR would stand for. So it's like anything that's collecting sensor data. Because they know as well that how this all works is these sensors are beaming information to relay satellites in the sky. And then those relay satellites are beaming the data to ground-based computers. And then they're using that data to build like a tactical map. playback, right? Okay. So look, here it is. Here's confirmation. The Helios was on the USS Donald Trump. The USS Donald Trump. See, like I told you guys, fact check true, chat. Fact check true. USS Donald Trump, right there. Your eyes, guys. What does this say right here? It says it right there. USS DONALD TRUMP. If you don't see that says Donald Trump, you need to get new glasses. That's what it says. So fact checked. Ashton's video has been confirmed to be true. And look, it even says in year 2022 was conducted sea trials for year 2023. So there you go. Now I could go through a lot more of these. The other one is actually in here as well somewhere. What was the name of the other ship called? The US. I think it's right here. Actually, is this it? What was the? Oh yeah, here's right here. USS Portland. So here's the other one. So anyone saying that those videos were fake or whatever, technically that one video was like turned into a GIF from an image, but it was a real thing that happened. The other one is 1,000% real. The USS Portland, here it is. So here's the other laser. So Lockheed Martin developed one of these, and then Northrop Grumman developed the other one. So you've got both Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman developing like crazy ass laser systems for their boats. Like here it is right here. There's actually some pretty cool images in some of these. Look at that thing. And of course, they've integrated it with their AI system. Like no question, they've integrated it with their AI system. Because what they're doing is the ISR information. Basically, these ISR sensors, like I said, they're beaming that information. You're getting playback. So this becomes a whole big game of like Battleship, where you're trying to disable the enemy's surveillance systems while you're taking out and battling against their cruisers on the in the water, in the air, whatever, or their orbs floating around. Okay. Where's the dope one that talks about the energy? Hold on. I think there's a also these figures are great. So a lot of these come straight from like Lockheed Martin's website. Look at these ones with these cars. Look at this thing. This is just basically like a trash. This is like a trash truck, like a dump truck with like a laser attached to it. This is my favorite one. It's just a trash truck with a laser attached to the top. Simple. You take something normal, attach a laser to it. Take a shark, attach a laser to it. Now you got a laser shark. Take a trash truck, add a laser to it. Now you've got a trash truck that can squish things, that can laser beam them out of the sky as well. Lasers just make everything better. Literally everything. Look at that. Literally just a trash truck with a laser attached to it. Look at this one. This one is, I don't even know, and like an APC. This is like an armored APC, carries people. They can get out the back on this thing. And again, just add a laser to the top of it. You can see the laser out the top. Makes it better. Just makes everything better. Look, even an airplane. This one seems absolutely ridiculous to me. But you know what? We're going to go with it. We've got a jet airplane flying around in the sky. Add a laser to it. Make it not woke. Make it not P. Diddy, and add a laser to it. No P. Diddy, no wokeness. Just keep adding lasers to shit. That's basically the story of directed energy weapons. We make big laser beam, make big burn, and we just add it on to shit. You say, why would you want to add it on to a fighter jet? And I would say, why the hell would I not want to add it to a fighter jet? Frankly, that's not enough lasers. Exactly. Who said more cowbell? Whoever said more cowbell, you win the gold star of the day. You win the gold star of the day. You can never have too. Let's see what else we can put a laser on. Look at this. This is a lawnmower with a laser. This is a golf cart. This is just a golf cart with a laser attached to it. Honestly, this is quickly becoming my favorite stream of all time. This is just a golf cart where Raytheon added a laser on the back of it. Basically, this whole this whole document I have is just random objects with lasers attached to them, like dump trucks, golf carts, jets. Look, there it is. There's a golf cart with a laser on it. Everybody gets a laser tonight, chat. And thank you for the cat emojis. Look, this right here is just a container. This is just a container with a laser attached to it. And it looks like it's like a transformer. This is just a cargo container. They attached a laser to it. Why not? Have the cargo container just be in some ship and it just looks like a normal cargo container. Boom, laser comes out. Boom. This one is called a phaser because technically it's not really a laser. It's a high-powered microwave. So really they're using this dish instead, but same idea. Same idea. Again, here's the same deal again. Just literally just a normal truck container. Add a big beam on it. That's it. Like, if you don't understand the beauty of this portion of the stream right now, you're probably European. You're like Americans, the European mind cannot comprehend the beauty of adding a giant laser to a golf cart. It just can't. You have to love freedom to just really appreciate that. Just a fact about life. It's just a fact. Honestly, this is the greatest document I've ever seen. And I don't know how much money we're spending on this, but we should probably double it. Whatever amount of money we're spending on adding laser beams to things, it's probably at least half too little. Double it, triple it, make it 10 times the amount of money. I don't even know. What I learned about weapons, guys, it's cheap as hell. Weapons are cheap, chat. I don't want to get into like my job and stuff like that, but let's just say like the service industry compared to making weapons, service industry is way more expensive than making weapons. Making weapons is cheap. So this is actually the graph I wanted to show you guys from this document. They've got a whole playbook here, and this playbook is coming along pretty quick. The less than 100 kilowatt class, that's 2019 to 2024. That's the ones they're showing us. That's the ones I just showed you guys right now. That's the ones I just showed you. That's the lowest ones on this list. What's next? 200 to 500 kilowatt class? 10 times more powerful than the ones that they just showed you? That's the next 5 years? So the next 5 years, they're planning on lasers that are 10 times more powerful than the one I just showed you. 10 times more powerful. Okay. And then what's beyond that? 2030. So just 5 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now, they don't even have a number on here. It just says megawatt class. So basically they're saying these are going to be like 20 to 50 times more powerful than the ones we have right now. This one just reaches legendary class. Like you can't even compare it on the scales of the previous ones. Ballistic and hypersonic missile defense. So here you guys go. This is probably the most important part of the stream. Pay attention, everybody. Everybody asks, like, can these things shoot down lasers? What can these things do? Well, this diagram just says it. I'll go full screen and I'll just read it, right? So the ones we have now are basically for counter drones, okay? Counter drones. Let's just look at it like that. The ones coming up right now are counter cruise ship missiles. So basically these are like counter ICBMs. So these can counter missiles. The ones and let's be honest, they've already got all this shit. They've already got all of these. If they're telling us that this isn't the plan for the future, it's because they've already got it and they're just like, this is the plan for the public rollout, right? And then these top ones, ballistic and hypersonic missile defense. Ballistic and hypersonic. So yes, when people ask me, can they stop hypersonic missiles? Yes. We have shit that can stop hypersonic missiles, 100%. When Putin says we have stuff that hypersonics that can't be stopped, he is full of crap. He's just bluffing. And he doesn't even want to find out, because if he were to FOFA, wait, FAFO, I mean, if he were to FAFO, it would not end well. Putin's plane would get orbed into Narnia and he would go hang out with the passengers of MH370, right? That's what would happen if Putin were to ever test us. So that's what I wanted to show you is they literally have, okay, what was that? They literally have like an actual rollout strategy with like a whole diagram. And when you actually just look at how powerful these lasers are, it's like, it's disgusting. And that's just assuming conventional physics. That's assuming conventional physics. This isn't even like, we're not even into magical technology or anything like that. If you assume they also can manipulate scalar weapons in the same way, well, then we're getting scared because that means that they've got stuff that, yeah, is very, very alarming, to say the least. Okay, so we added laser beams to dump trucks and jets and APCs. I don't know. I think the dopest one is definitely the golf cart. Although the jet with the laser beam on it is pretty sick. It doesn't seem practical like at all to me. It seems completely impractical unless it can move on a swivel. Maybe it can. It just looks really stupid when I look at it right here. Yeah, sharks with laser beams is also good. But this one, look at the golf cart, chat. Look at the golf cart. Damn, dude. Imagine just going to the range or just like, no, you go for like the back, you go for a back 9 or a full 18 and you just got this thing on your golf cart. No one is messing with you. No one is messing with you. They mess with you and then they hit their golf cart and then you zap their golf ball with the laser beam and their golf ball is just disintegrated, vaporized in the sky. And then they're like, hey, what happened to my golf ball? And you're like, I have no idea. No idea. I just told my Jarvis to just disintegrate anything in the sky. Looks like some trash might have got up there. Oh, dude. I love it. Someone give me one of those for my birthday. Okay. And then, of course, you can put it on a boat. The part that they don't mention is like, why would we like there's no doubt we put this shit on a satellite. The only question is we'd have to have if we have the magical technology, then we can put it on the satellite because then distance isn't a factor. If distance isn't a factor, you just put that on a satellite and now you've got a doomsday weapon just in outer space floating around and just beam at people out of the sky, on the ground. Okay, so here are the advantages, okay? So HEL is just some more acronyms they make up. Like, just call it a laser. We don't need an acronym for high energy laser. Just be like, oh, we got powerful laser beams. Okay, HEL. So the benefits of lasers, fast engagement times, makes sense. Ability to counter missiles, great. Precision engagements, yep, makes sense. Graduated responses, meaning they can do more stuff than just destroy stuff. They can detect things, they can jam things, so they can do a lot of other stuff as well. Now the limitations of lasers, line of sight. Sure, but everything's limited by line of sight. And then atmospheric absorption, thermal blooming, I don't even know what the hell that means. Oh, it heats up the air. Huh, interesting. Saturation attacks. Oh, yeah. So this is interesting, actually. One of the weaknesses of lasers is a saturation attack. Remember when Iran shot all those missiles at Israel? That was a saturation attack. I can't believe people are still arguing with me. People really think that Israel intercepted all those missiles with missiles themselves. This is the dumbest thing ever. No, those missiles were definitely being shot out of the sky by a laser or a directed energy weapon. And the way that you get through them is saturation because the lasers can only, they require a couple seconds to disable the target. Although the ones that were going at Israel were being disabled instantly. But you imagine you would have to lock on to a new target. So you have to disable that one, lock on a new target. So you need that process to be as fast as possible. I mean, trying to have one moving object hit another moving object in 3D space is extremely difficult. Extremely different, especially if one of the objects can move. But a laser, the whole benefit of the laser is how fast it moves to hit the target. Like this, you're not going to shoot down, like trying to shoot down missiles with another missile is like the dumbest thing ever. Shoot it down with a laser. Of course, it's much smarter. And then hardened targets. So weaker lasers basically won't be able to get through hardened targets or reflective surfaces. So some people mention, well, can I just use a mirror? Does a mirror just defend it? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. I mean, yes. If you turn your airplane into just a giant mirror, then yeah, I guess the laser beam will bounce back. I mean, that's what a mirror is. So, I mean, you got to make your plane out of mirrors. Maybe all planes will just be made out of mirrors in the future. That'd be weird. I'm sure there's a way around that though too. And then they can disable people. You don't have to eliminate them. They're non-lethal. They have broad applications. And then the range is a limitation. The range is potentially a limitation. So, and then if you want to know how much money they're spending on it, here you go. So here's how much money. So just let's look at 2024. I don't know what these numbers mean. The Army, 250 million, I presume this is what this is. Yeah, in millions of dollars. 250 million. So not even $1 billion. Navy spent 100 million. Air Force, 300 million. So total number, not even 1 billion. Maybe after appropriations, 1 billion. I don't think you add these numbers up. $1 billion. Yeah, it's chump change. It's actually chump change. When you actually look at these numbers, it seems like a lot. That's actually just nothing. $1 billion for all of the major Army, Navy, Air Force, everybody combined on directed energy weapons. The lesson of tonight, chat, weapons are cheap. Weapons are incredibly cheap. Okay, let me see what other stuff we've got to share with you guys for tonight. So that was a pretty cool link there that kind of went through some of the applications of directed energy weapons. They can do a lot of stuff. They can cause a lot of damage, and they definitely do exist 100%. And then it's just a matter of, do you believe that we have figured out how to beam energy at a distance, at a vast distance, with near perfect efficiency? In which case, then our laws of physics don't really explain that very well at the moment. Let's see what I've got here. I think I've got some more directed energy weapon stuff. Let's see. Bearden. So we got some Bearden. I think this one should be good to explain it. Let's try this one.
I won't dwell on this. I will simply state that all that a mass is anyway, a particle of mass, is in fact a trapped scalar resonance. I'm going to give you a quick once-over about scalar resonance and we'll go on. Take a normal resonance system with a wave moving back and forth in a cavity so that it's in phase and coherent. Suppose that there were two waves moving along together, but the second wave, the electric and magnetic field, were 180 out from the first one. That's a scalar resonance system. Your normal instrument won't even see it. We can build special detectors and have that will see it. That's all a mass is, but you can make a current of that kind of resonance, and you can pipe that current down a wire, or you can add to that resonance in the system, or you can take it away. What did I say? I said you can pump the mass and inertia directly into an object and increase it, or you can pump it out of there. And if you pump all of it out of there, it'll dematerialize on you. And the statements I am making are based in part on experimental evidence in the laboratory.
So you take our normal understanding of physics and the directed energy weapons that we just looked at, and you take the concept of four-wave mixing and phase conjugation, and what that adds to the equation is the ability to create a time-reversed wave and to pump energy into or out of a region of space-time at a distance. And to create a scalar wave, you create two waves that are, I guess you could say, phase conjugated. I mean, the idea is that you want them perfectly in phase. So if one wave is like this, you need the other waves to exactly overlap. Why? Remember what I just said about bosons and fermions. We want our waves to be perfectly in sync with one another. We want them to collapse onto a single point. And we want to scale our waves up. So what Tom Bearden just said with scalar waves is if we are essentially taking what we already know about directed energy weapons and we are powering it up. We are having to go from something that seems very conventional, radar, a ranging and detection system, to now it becoming a extremely powerful directed energy system, weapon system that can deliver energy over a very long distance or remove energy over a very long distance. One of those would be an explosion, which would be an exothermic event, a release of energy. And the other one would be not quite an implosion, but an endothermic event, an absorption of energy. You either take your energy from this location and beam it over here and release it, or you pull the energy out of here and then you pull it over here and release it over here. Right? And again, that's just thermodynamics. It's just how the universe works. So let me do that part once again. It's very simple because you're going to realize this is teleportation as well. And this is why I'm very confident that the whole scalar physics thing is also true and real, is that you take the same concepts of directed energy weapons and you level it up. You make it go Super Saiyan for my Dragon Ball anime lovers. You make it go Super Saiyan. And now you're saying I have either a system where I have a whole bunch of energy right here, and I'm going to beam it over here and make it explode over here. Boom, directed energy. Or I'm going to absorb this energy and then transmit it and release it over here. That last one I just did is teleportation. That's what teleportation is. Why? Because mass is energy. Mass is energy. That's what Einstein taught us. That's why Einstein will always be remembered as one of the greats. Einstein taught us mass equals energy. Thank you, Chase. It's so important. Mass equals energy. So if I can absorb energy from one location and transmit it somewhere else, why can't I absorb mass and transmit it somewhere else as well? The only reason is because we don't understand the origin of mass. That's the real truth. We don't understand the origin. And until we understand the origin of mass, we can't understand how it could be possible. 0-point energy tells us the answer to mass, inertia, gravity, dark energy, dark matter, all these questions that we struggle with. So I hope you enjoyed the directed energy weapon live stream for you guys tonight. We didn't go into too much depth on the history of it, but it goes back to about the 60s. And based on what we've seen from the MH370 videos, they have figured out how to take one of these laser beams and put it into a floating ball of plasma. The floating balls of plasma you see in these MH370 videos, they have those directed energy weapons inside of them. That's how they're able to do what you see right here with this convergence. They have those, and that's probably what's in front of them. You see these dark lines in front of them as well. Like you can pretty clearly see it on this orb on the below the plane here. There's a dark line going to the left. They're using this scalar beam here. And then what's happening at the last moment is they're converging the beams on the plane or at the point. They're focusing them at the point where they want the plane to disappear. So the point where those beams intersect is going to be the point where the singularity opens up. You see how the line on this orb on the south here? This line, this orb on the south left of the screen, it's actually, the line is pointed up and to the left. Like right where the singularity is forming. So they're doing exactly what Tom Bearden said. They're doing what Tom Bearden said. They're creating a scalar interferometry across the streams, right? And then they're pulling the energy out of a distant point. And we know how do we know they're pulling the energy out? Because that's cold right there. If this was white hot, that would be an explosion. Because this is cold, black, it's an absorption of energy. It's getting colder. That means energy is being sucked out of this region right there, and then it's gone. So this is why, for the people that wonder, why do you say that they teleported the plane? Because I'm applying basic physics to what I'm seeing with my eyes. I'm assuming that what I'm seeing here is real, and I'm applying physics to it. That's a cold event. That's not hot. This goes against everything that we've been taught in physics. So either somebody made a fake video with fake physics in it, or this video is real and they're hiding real physics from us. I mean, I think all of us can agree that it's one of those two things is the case. Me, I'm 1,000% convinced this video is real. That's really the plane. That's really MH370. And this is really the U.S. Navy zapping the plane out of the sky. So yes, that's the reason, guys. So I probably should repeat that more often because I think it's the most important point. To kind of wrap up tonight, this is the big mystery of the plane. Like, why did they do this huge cover-up? They had to cover up that they're hiding the Super Saiyan technology. They are fine telling us about conventional directed energy weapons that use conventional physics, that are limited by conventional physics. If they were to tell the truth that they've got those directed energy weapons strapped on the satellites and that they're not limited by the line of sight is no longer an issue and distance was never an issue, it would be a whole new ball game, right? People would be freaked out. And this is why people say that they're using these directed energy weapons on places like Maui and Los Angeles. I'm not condoning those. I don't necessarily believe in that, but that's why people are coming to those conclusions. Because there's people out there that know that we're not limited by distance when it comes to directed energy weapons. And if that's the case, then you can put them on a satellite. You can interfere them from satellites from thousands of miles away. And you can create energy at a distance, which could easily burn stuff, potentially, hypothetically, start a fire. Right? So that's why people are making those speculations. And yeah, so if they're hiding this super advanced technology that's out there, which they are, then you can see why they would have to go through this elaborate cover-up of a commercial airliner. And if you imagine what a cover-up would look like, thank you, Ponderbuck. Appreciate you, brother. Peace out. The way that MH370 played out was about exactly it. And Sal, you're right here. I don't know how old this comment is, but Sal did speak of the idea of the orbs being controlled by AGI. And it was weird because I also said the same thing when I first saw the orbs. It's got to be controlled by AI. It's got to be controlled by AI. You look at the movements of the orbs, it's not aliens moving the orbs around. This is how I knew right away it wasn't aliens, unless aliens were controlling the orbs remotely with their minds or something. But like the way the orbs move around, it's a computer. It's a computer. AI is doing that. Which then leads you to a very, very scary thought, which is, did AI already win? Has the Asterisk system already taken over the entire humanity? Did they take over like 20 years ago? Did they already hit the singularity in like the year 2000 and they've basically just been slowly taking over the planet without us even realizing it? Because I can't understand. They potentially have free energy, teleportation technology, and maybe sentient AI. They might even have sentient AI right now. I mean, again, just like looking at it like this, guys. If they do have the Super Saiyan upgrade technology to physics, why would they not have AGI? Wouldn't be that surprising for them to have very advanced AI as well. They have very advanced everything else. And if they have AGI, then I'm really scared because we have no chance against the machines, in my opinion. None at all. Okay. One last super chat, and then let's close it down, guys. Sandy Collar, any thoughts on the helicopter and plane collision? Not really. Not really. I mean, it seems like a very, and thank you for that donation, Sandy. Seems like a very tragic event. I don't really see a lot of conspiracy angles to it at the moment, only because all of the personnel have been identified. And I think that the big angle would have been if the Black Hawk was being remote controlled, but there doesn't seem to be any evidence of that. Just seems like plain old normal incompetence, flying too high and hit an incoming landing airplane. And I sure hope like hell it doesn't happen to me. Hope like hell it doesn't happen to me. Okay. And just yeah, shout out to brother Professor J. Does AI dream? Yeah, letter to Ashton. It was AI talking, but it was just an AI voice changer. We actually found the exact AI voice that was used. It's actually been used in like a lot of very popular videos because it sounds so real. It's just crazy. Okay, guys. I think that's it for tonight, chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I do still owe you Eric Lathwhite and Malinov live stream. So we will do that in the near future, guys. And I will get the Jean D'Souza interview out this weekend for you guys as well. And I've got some other stuff lined up as well. So I am going to be talking. Probably my next guest will be a UFO. Ooh, a UFO researcher. Can you wait, chat? Ashton's after John D'Souza. The next guest is probably going to be a UFO researcher. I want you guys to guess who they are in the Discord. I'll post a link to the Discord for you guys to join if you want to join while we are taking off. And lastly, guys, thank you, MH370X. I appreciate you guys. Check out the Four Orbs merch if you want, if you're interested in any of the merchandise. And check out some of the new content that's going to be coming out as well, guys. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. See you guys on Wednesday. Peace, everybody. Okay, which one are we going to go with?
Infrared eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. Control 22, a covert gaze. Control 33, in the cosmic maze. Controls in the mix, secrets untold. Silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interest, far and wide. As Spears, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. And roles in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interest, far and wide. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching